Welcome back to SMOTD. In this episode I'm reviewing Isoku's Loot and Degradation. One of the weird issues with vanilla Skyrim was the fact that you would never find any tempered weapons on any NPC. It seemed as though the Dragonborn was the only one blessed to use them in Bethesda's eyes, despite the game having blacksmiths everywhere, seemingly doing nothing at all. This mod finally fixes this by allowing NPCs access to tempered weapons. No more shall you kill a bunch of bandits only to find the same exact iron sword on each and every enemy. Tempering levels work in the same way as they do for the player, ranging from fine to legendary, although regular gear can still be found. But worry ye not, you won't be finding low level cannon fodder with legendary iron daggers. The temper level actually scales with the NPC level to keep everything balanced, while the same goes for enchanted items in that it would be extremely rare to find them on a level 1 bandit. The mod even works with any other mod that adds weapons and armour, assuming they were added to the level list by the original authors, even without the need for patches. It's also worth noting that NPCs will now loot their foes if they are killed within melee range. So moving on now to my favourite part, Degradation. No longer can you temper a piece of gear to legendary status and be done with it. All tempered gear, including your follower's gear if you enable the option, will eventually degrade with use. This means your legendary sword would degrade stage by stage to epic, flawless and even all the way back to an untempered state if not cared for. It's not a black and white situation however. Damage depends on several factors, such as blocking with a shield would protect your armour, but of course damage the shield. The same goes for blocking with a weapon. Weapons will also degrade upon use, so using a sword as a shield as well as your primary attack would obviously degrade it much faster than it would do if you had a shield. It's also advisable to dodge power attacks when possible, as they can significantly degrade your gear. Now for the final addition, the services. Not all of us like to smith and temper our own weapons in the game, whether that's due to roleplaying or simply not wanting to level the smithing tree. So the author now allows blacksmiths and fletchers the ability to temper your gear, for a price of course. Fletchers are the cheaper option, but they can only temper light armour, bows and one-handed weapons, so for everything else the blacksmith is your, albeit more expensive, man. All of them will be randomly assigned a skill level of Apprentice, which is fine, and Journeyman, which equates to Superior, besides Earlond, who starts at the Adept level, which is Exquisite gear. The interesting part is that they can also level their own tempering abilities. This works in two ways, the first being time. Every 6 months in-game time passed will level up their tempering skill by 2 levels, without any player intervention at all. And if you're midway through a game at the moment, don't worry, as it adjusts itself to this as well. The second is calculated by how much the player spends at the given NPC on tempering. The more expensive the tempering is, the faster they level up. This is all calculated before the speech skill is taken into account, so you won't be missing out due to that. The final feature, which is the cherry on the cake for those of us that love roleplaying, is the ability to have them take a specified amount of in-game hours to actually temper our gear, instead of doing it immediately, which is a tad unrealistic. You don't have to wait around though, as a courier will seek you out and deliver your freshly tempered gear to you. That's awesome, right? And that is it for this episode. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to endorse the mod if you find it interesting, like or dislike this video, and leave a comment if you feel like it. As always, see you next time.